Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Yoleno TV. And this is the day that most Kenyans have waited for, the 13th of September 2022. While the country is eagerly waiting for the inauguration to commence, ladies and gentlemen, we have something that is of concern, and this is directed at Musalia Mudavadi. And it's alleged that Musalia Mudavadi will have to wait for 30 days after Ruto takes oath for him to know his fate. Remember in the previous arrangement, when the pre-election pact that Musalia Mudavadi would become the prime cabinet secretary. By default, that is not available in the Kenyan constitution, and that will require the president to invoke a clause that gives him that mandate to create that position. So by default, if you look at Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's regime, there was that post that was created, a chief minister, and that was allocated to Matiang'i. And that time, you realize that some of the functions that were for William Samoei Ruto were taken away and given to Matiang'i. That involved coordination of government projects. Matiang'i could chair some cabinet subcommittees as a result of that role which was given to him. He could even chair the cabinet committees. So Ruto borrowed that arrangement into Kenya Kwanza. And mind you, before that, BBI had created a position of a prime minister, but that was disputed by the court. The court decided to do away with the BBI thing for good. But then Ruto borrowed that idea into the Kenya Kwanza government structure and introduced a prime cabinet secretary slot, and that was promised to Musalia Mudavadi. However, that will be subject to debate by the parliament, both parliaments, the Senate and the National Assembly, upon when the president decided to invoke that clause, then that it will lead to a debate by the National Assembly and the Senate Parliament. So if they decide not to agree with the president, that slot will not be created. And what does that mean? That means Musalia Mudavadi will just be a normal CS, just like any other CS who shall have been appointed. So ladies and gentlemen, before we delve into that analysis about this, aspect of Mudavadi being in the cold for 30 days, or maybe being in the cold for, as long as the Kenya government will be in power, please take a moment and subscribe to our channel. You give us a thumbs up. You can hit the notification bell as usual, so that every time we upload such videos, you will always become the first person to get notified. Now, in the dailies, there was an article regarding the same. This is what the article said in the local dailies, the Standard newspaper, that for the post to be constituted, that is the prime cabinet slot, President-elect William Ruto, after becoming the substantive head of state, will invoke an executive order creating the position. The order will therefore thereafter be subjected to debate in the National Assembly, where it is expected to be approved. In the course of deliberations in the August House, the role of the prime cabinet secretary will be explained to the legislators. Meanwhile, the NC leader will be appointed to the cabinet, awaiting that approval by the National Assembly. Yes, the statement goes further. Okay, that was in the Taifa Leo, the Swahili newspaper reports that the Amani National Party leader, Musalia Mudavadi, will have to put up with a month-long wait before taking up his position in the Kenya Kwanza government. Mudavadi, a co-principal in the coalition taking power, is designated to take up the post of the prime cabinet secretary. That is what I was saying. Mudavadi will have to wait for a month for that deliberation to be done. Now, that is the Taifa Leo. So when you go to the Standard newspaper, so the Standard newspaper has also indicated the same. So we were focusing on Musalia Mudavadi, the man. Musalia Mudavadi's role will involve, coordination of government projects, CS subcommittees. I think in a nutshell, William Samoei Ruto could be giving Musalia Mudavadi a huge mandate of coordinating all the government ministries. all the ministries are likely to be coordinated by the Musalia Mudavadi. What we don't know is whether this idea will work, because considering the fact that Rigathi Gachagua is also in the limelight, and the president himself will be in the limelight, to want to be felt and seen by the CSS. Now, if you give Musalia Mudavadi that executive role, what is likely to happen? I said in my previous analysis that what is likely to happen is that there is likely to be a lot of friction between two offices. One, the Prime Minister's, the Prime Cabinet Secretary's office. Two, the Deputy President's office. Because most of the functions of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, as I illustrated in my previous analysis, will have been derived from the Deputy President's office. I don't know whether Rigathi Gachagua will be okay with that. I think that is likely to cause some friction, because Rigathi Gachagua being a huge representative of the Mount Kenya faction, William Samoei Ruto is a representative of the Rift Valley faction. But at the end of the day, all of these two leaders are national leaders. But Musalia Mudavadi represents the Western faction. But again, we don't know whether Mount Kenya will agree. I think this might not play to the favor of Musalia Mudavadi. I think Musalia Mudavadi might have to be shortchanged by the people in Mount Kenya umbrella. I'm looking at this scenario. What if they decide to vote against that seat so that Rigathi Gachagua can retain the powers that he has? What is likely to happen? Is likely to happen if Mount Kenya decides to vote against that idea, and they decide to side with Azimio One Kenya Alliance, then that seat or that position will not be created. If you look at the vote that was done, the conducted when the Senate Speaker was, the voting for the Senate Speaker was ongoing, you realize that some of the Azimio One Kenya Alliance decided to vote with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance so that they could get Kingi as being the coastal leader who is their speaker, the first time getting a speaker. That was the first time getting a speaker for the coastarians. So I'm looking at this scenario whereby now, if the parliament is subjected to a voting process, then Mount Kenya might decide to vote with Azimio One Kenya Alliance so that that position of a Prime Cabinet Secretary does not sail through, so that Rigathi Gachagua can retain the roles that have been promised to him by the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go through some of these postings again in the local dailies. Today being that big day that Kenya, especially the Kenya Kwanza diehards, have been waiting for, the day for inauguration. So a lot of things are happening. And again, we understand that Raila Amolo Odinga might not be available in Kenya right now. I think Raila Amolo Odinga has toured South Africa, if I'm not wrong, if my facts are correct, because there was that allegation that he was going to South Africa for some attention. We don't know whether that's true. So kindly share with me, what do you think about this Musalia Mudavadi long wait into the political cold? Do you think it will bear fruit, or do you think Musalia Mudavadi will be shortchanged, considering that we saw what happened in the scene during the Senate vote, whereby some Azimio leaders decided to vote for a Kenya Kwanza speaker? Do you think that is likely to happen? Because, like I explained, that the roles of Rigathi Gachagua will have been taken from Rigathi Gachagua to Musalia Mudavadi. And we know very well that this is one of the reasons why William Samoei Ruto fell out with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, because some of his roles were taken away from him and handed over to Matiang'i, so that Matiang'i could perform some of those key roles, because Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta felt that his deputy was undermining him, and that he was engaging in early campaigns instead of focusing on the duties that have been bestowed to him by the Constitution of Kenya. So should this directive be actualized, and should the parliament be subjected to a voting process, then I'm seeing a scenario whereby now some of those Kenya Kwanza leaders will have to vote against the idea so that they can retain the roles that have been assigned to Rigathi Gachagua being the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, continue sharing in the comment section there what you feel about this long wait, the political long wait the long wait of the political cold. So share what you think. And I'd like to, first of all, before I wind up, I'd like to thank you so much for staying with our channel. It is because of you that we hit 11,000 subscribers, but we are still on the road to 15,000 subscribers. So continue sharing our channel, support our channel. If you are regular viewers, not subscribe, please subscribe to our channel so that the channel can grow further. So I'd like to urge you to stay safe and stay calm as the country undergoes the transition process.